We are back with another episode of Mice in the Attic, coming from you on location from the Duckworth estate. That's right, our previous Mice in the Attic guest, Britton Duckworth, has been so kind to let us use his property to film today's guest, the incomparable Jon Zorn. You know how we do it here on Mice in the Attic. He's going to play some songs for us, and then we're going to do some talking. So without further ado, Mr. Jon Zorn.
Thank you, John. I'm going to start off with Girl Like You here. This is the first single I ever wrote.
I want to be true. You know exactly to can't be rude. But understand that I can't understand what I do for you. And me right there on the couch thinking I'd like to. I want to write it down on the board that I leave for you in the house we live. With the two of us and the gifts that we have to give. Baby doll, can you help me find what I lost in Now you know I can't change myself, and I don't expect you to. I'm stopping to find out, baby, now what I missed in you. A girl like you. Kiss your lips, say you're there on the floor, I wanna give it to you. A girl like you, I never loved before, so I gotta be true. Share all my love to a girl like you. I remember when I broke up on a baseball bench and I couldn't tell you where I be down the road in the years that you liked me too. So I came and I went and I wasn't sure if you'd leave me. Now you know I can't change myself, and I don't expect you to. I'm starting to find out, girl, now what I missed in you. A girl like you. Kiss your lips, take it there on the floor, I wanna give it to you. A girl like you, I never loved before, so I gotta be true. Share all my love to a girl like you. Oh, it's painful now to think back to a time in the past when I broke up then. I still came back into your life when I lost myself. I was stupid to think I could fall for another you. Another you. Now you know I can't change myself, and I don't expect you to. I'm starting to find out, baby, now what I missed in you. A girl like you. Kiss your lips, take it there on the floor, I wanna give it to you. A girl like you, I never loved before, so I gotta be true. Share all my love for you, and I can't understand, girl, just what it is I do for you, and I gotta be true. Share all my love to a girl like you.
Alrighty. So this next one we'll do is called Speed Train. This was off second EP. So here we go.
I've been on speed train. Yeah, night I won't get sleep. Lie awake at midnight. In the whiskey buries me. This rush is full of restless. Won't you keep a steady heart? Take away my spirit. Yeah, my soul just can't part. Whisper to me, baby. Something soft and something sweet. Did you hear the man call? Yeah, staring right at me. Sometimes I wanna rush this and come out the other side. Baby, won't you stay away? And don't let me run and hide. I've been fumbling all night. Stops just inside. The train's moving on its way. I've been on the speed train all night. Won't you stop and take a ride? Finding out how to rush it through to make it on the other side. I've been speeding all night. I've been speeding all night. Frames are moving faster. Yeah, my eyes I can't keep up. Somebody give me something, because I'm running out of love. Stay awake the first watch. When the veil hits the light, run away with me, baby, and we'll make it through the night. I've been fumbling all night. Stops just inside. The train's moving on its way. 'Cause I've been on the speed train all night. Won't you stop and take a ride? Finding out how to rush it through to make it on the other side. I've been speeding all night. I've been speeding all night. I've been on a speed train. Yeah, at night I won't get sleep. Lie awake at midnight. In the whiskey berry sleep, it's rushes for the
Alrighty. So next, make sure I'm in next song is going to be a song called California. It's off the latest EP. The EP is called California. And there's 2 other songs with that, but I'm only going to do one off of that. Alright, cool. Here we go.
I'm on the move to California. I don't care what people say. Got money saved up and I know it ain't enough to help me start my getaway. Someday I wanna move this town around, put a foundation and set it down. All stocked up on that heart and soul, gonna carry me to get to my goal. That's why I moved to California. I don't care what people say. I got money saved up and I know it ain't enough to help me stop and get away. They can be happy if I decide to fail, sending letters and money in the mail. Move back home, son, and the job is yours. Gotta be some reason why I want more. That's why I moved to California. I don't care what people say. I got money saved up and I know it ain't enough. Will you help me stop and get away? 3 years later, I still haven't made it. Can't replace what I found. All the lessons I learned in myself keep me on steady ground. That's why I moved to California. I don't care what people say. I I got money saved up and I know it ain't enough to help me start my getaway. I'm on the move to California. I don't care what people say. I got money saved up and I know it ain't enough to help me start my getaway.
Thank you. Well, that was Jon Zorn playing his original music. We are Mice in the Attic. I am Jon Christian Kane, and we have Jon Zorn. I got some questions. Let's get some answers. Jon Zorn, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, man.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for being here.
Do you like pizza, John?
I do. I just had some actually over the weekend.
Okay, good.
Cheese,
we're just breaking the ice a little bit. How about pasta? Do you like pasta?
I do eat pasta, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends. You know, now there's a lot of different styles. So
I know.
You get some lentil pasta.
Yeah,
it's
what's
good.
that? That's more like a legume anyway.
Yeah, it's tasty though.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, now on to the hard stuff.
Okay, all right. Cut.
John, the first song you did was "Girl Like You," yeah?
Yeah.
How
Thank
old
you.
were you when you? That was off of one of your first projects, right? Was that one of the first songs you wrote, or one of the first songs you recorded?
No, not one of the first ones I wrote. It was one of the first ones I recorded in an actual, studio. Nice production, studio engineer. Shout out Evan Kornblum.
You did it at Stages then.
At Stages, yeah. So. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of plugs for them lately.
Yeah, I know.
Britton last week recorded
yeah,
there too.
Britton did some recording at Stages, and I've done a little. I haven't recorded there with. I see a lot of good stuff about Evan and everything at Stages.
It's good, man. It's a beautiful studio. It really is, and a great engineer. Evan is always so positive, and he's really inspired to get a lot out of me in the recordings I've done there.
Yeah, that's good when you're working with a good engineer. It's more than, it sounds like he assumes a good producer role too. He's not just pushing buttons and getting your levels right. He's really pulling the best out of you.
I would say he's definitely doubling as producer and engineer and psychologist sometimes.
Yeah.
Help me through
Bartender.
when I'm like, the songs, it's frustrating, but he's great. So.
What was the project that Girl Like You? Was that just a single? Or
that was just a single. I just wanted to get, one song recorded really off the bat. And once I did that, it was a different process than I thought it would be like, but in a good way. I didn't know what to expect. And then it's kind of snowballed with some other, 2 more EPs, so.
Did you go in with the intention of just doing the single, or was there a bigger project in mind and you just kind of wanted to get your feet wet doing it?
It's a good question. Budget-wise, I couldn't really do a full album, and I couldn't do that yet. And I feel like nowadays, well, I don't want to say it's lost, but most people don't sit down and listen to a full album like they used to.
It's tough.
I do from time to time, but not often. So it was more just kind of get songs out there so you almost have a little bit of a portfolio, but it's finally a nice format and not just people that have seen me play out live and heard me and to see what the process was like too. So
yeah, that's good. Well, how old were you when you first started like playing and/or writing?
I would say I got inspired from a friend who had an electric guitar when I was 12. He was playing Nirvana, "Come As You Are."
Oh,
actually.
Yeah. It's one of
Which
the
most
standards
people, most people were. But and I remember him playing that, and I just really wanted to pick it up, and the rest is kind of history. I wouldn't say self-taught. I've had a lot of help along the way, and it's a constant, as you know,
constantly learning
and trying to find new doors to open to see a billion other doors. So he was 12, and then in I didn't start singing. Actually, I was super nervous, so I didn't start singing until mid-college. It was the first time I started singing some blues music, and the response, engaging that, people seemed to be interested. So I kept singing and playing, and playing solo, and I was with a band, and then I went back to solo, and I've been solo, and now I'm trying to play with more people in bands.
So in college, did you start playing out when you were in college, or just kind of feeling it out, seeing if you were able to do it?
I would say it was like dipping your feet kind of just in the ice cold water a little bit, and really seeing what the response would be like first, if people were digging it. And for the most part, people would come up after and say, hey, I think you have some potential, or you sounded good, I like that song, and covers and all that.
So what was the other group you were in, or the other band you were?
In high school, and I was in a band in high school, and we would play out too. But
were you a guitar player and singer in that, or?
Yeah, along with, that was Four Corners band, actually. And
Jacksonville must be.
Yeah. So we'd play in that, and we played at a place that in Hereford used to be called the Funky Monkey, but it's changed a bunch. But we were right on the street, basically. Like, car would pass us like 5 feet away. And it was such a cool exposure. We had a pretty decent band for high school. And
where did you go? Did you go to Hereford?
St. Paul's.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew, I grew up in Hereford, really, so I knew a lot of people there, and so anyway, so that was the introduction into the band, and then of course everybody goes different ways.
Yeah.
So then
it's tough to keep groups together. It can be.
Yeah, it is, especially high school and college.
Yeah.
And
where did you go to? What did you study in college?
Well, a lot. I went to. Or a lot, probably I shouldn't have studied, but I went to Towson, and I was actually playing golf on athletic scholarship.
Oh, no kidding.
And then I just got so burnt out. So then I went, I basically quit, and then I went to Australia to study, and I was there for about 1.5 years.
Awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And
whereabouts in Australia?
Just outside of Brisbane. It sounds like a joke school, but it's called the University of Sunshine Coast.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great, man, and it was. I look back at such a good time. So.
How long were you there?
About 1.5 years, 2 years, on and off. And then came back, and I didn't finish school at Towson, but I had intended to, and then didn't, and started playing out music and odd jobs here and there.
And did music start to take over more as you were kind of like, say, easing out of college or whatever, like to become more of a passion that this is now something you wanted to follow as opposed to?
I'd say so. I mean, I was still playing it, but there was a point where it could have gone either way, and I could be saying now, like, I wish I had kept with guitar.
Of course.
And that was like right around that time, but I started playing out, and it was playing out as a solo guy, which I really wasn't big on. That really kept me practicing because I wanted to constantly learn new covers, and that keeping practicing, playing, meeting people, and keep getting the gigs kept me, still motivated to play. So, and I'm so grateful that happened and I kept with it, because I couldn't imagine it kind of right now with just like not picking up a guitar in 5 years or something. Because I'm sure you feel the same.
Especially with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Our 6 feet here. I just want to be right next to him. I don't want to touch him. Can I just
air hug?
I just want to touch you, Jon Zorn.
Air hug.
Girl Like You. That was great. Let's talk about Speed Train. Single. Was it on a?
That was on an EP.
Your first EP?
There's a second one. It had another song, Addicted to You, and then, of course, insert promo, and I can't remember what else was on it. But, Ain't Saying Goodbye.
You record that one at Stages too?
That was at Stages. Yeah, all I've done is at Stages. And a lot of that is because of budget and convenience. I mean, it's real close to me.
Yeah.
I like what I got going on there right now with the people, and
yeah, once you build a rapport, it's tough to go anywhere else. And like you said with Evan, you have that now he kind of understands your
Yeah.
music and your style, and
Yeah, it didn't take him long to get me, and then he can also recommend. Like, I've brought in a lot of studio musicians, quote unquote, from other bands and from other groups, and that has really been humbling too, because they're just so good, and there's just so many good musicians around Baltimore, Virginia, DC, and you just kind of don't even realize it until you get more into the scene.
yeah. Well, he didn't call me to record anything. Still waiting on my phone call, Jon Zorn. I'm gonna move away. No, I think 6 feet isn't enough.
Maybe coming up, that would be. I'm always
That'd be great.
down to collaborate, and
Yeah,
that's
buddy.
what I've been trying to do since COVID. Really, is trying to get safely.
Staying sane,
But-
yeah, and just playing with as many people as you can, however you can. But a lot of like digital stuff. There's a lot of people doing things over the computer and tracking
Yeah.
from their homes, sending the tracks. It's not so much we can't go into the studio with a bunch of people and do the natural what we're used to doing. It's okay, track here, send it away to the guy. He can track. Especially with COVID, but
Yeah,
it kind
and
of sucks.
and I never ever thought I'd do a virtual songwriting, but I during when COVID first hit, I wrote a song with Chris Diller, who's a local guy.
Sure, I've heard of Chris Diller.
Cool guy.
Yeah.
And we're gonna record soon next week at Stages another tune.
That's
So-
awesome. So,
yeah.
Speed Train, how did you? It sounds like you've done a lot of traveling, right? Like at least with Australia and stuff. Was that
Travel's always been big for me.
It's good inspiration for songwriting, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not to say I'm like some poetic artist writing songs freely throughout my travels the entire time. It more so clears, it's perspective. And when I travel, it's always a different perspective and sort of new take on things. And when I come back, that's when sometimes it's like more writing comes, whether that's subconsciously or conscious.
Yeah, it gives you time to reflect on what's happened and kind of for everything to settle in.
It's just so easy for me here. Routine is good, but I also get really sick of it. So to get outside of the bubble here is just so helpful for me, and really put the time toward any musician who looks really good on stage. To me, I look at that and I say, well, they must be practicing so much,
Right.
that much more to really make that final product of being on stage and that live performance really engaging for whoever's watching it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do something I like to call best gig, worst gig. Let's start with the worst gig.
Oh,
What do you think and why?
well, I haven't had too many.
What makes a bad gig to you, John? What do you think?
I'm
like
thinking
when-
of the worst gig, because sometimes the worst gig is when it just keeps going wrong, domino effect.
What do you like? Like you like a bar, a venue,
I'd say-
crowd,
One worst gig was
being ill prepared, or
No, this was at a place years ago, a restaurant. It was a Christmas show, and I got there and I, bring my stuff set up. I'm asking about where to set up, and I can tell there's tension of. Sometimes, believe it or not, they book you, but when you arrive, they act like, "What are you doing here?"
right? Oh yeah.
So I got there, and it was that sort of scene.
That's the worst way to start for us too. When you walk into that, you're like, oh man,
It sucks.
I already feel
And
feel like unwelcome.
yeah, and again, it's not like that most of the time. Most of the
Yeah.
time, it's like, hey, how you been? Good to see you. But I played 4 hours straight, and it was zero clapping the entire time.
Is this thing on? Is this
And
thing on?
which is okay sometimes.
okay.
If people don't clap and they're sort of at their table, minding their business, they're enjoying it, because if I add to that atmosphere,
That's right.
the music gels in with the
That's
moment.
right. That's the attitude you have to take with that.
But this one was not that. And I brought in another musician. He was playing saxophone, so I'm like, oh, this will be sweet. We'll jazz it up. Nothing. I brought in another guitarist, that buddy of mine, and that didn't do anything. and we were wearing Christmas sweaters at the end. We had the Santa hats on, and we got nothing. So anyway,
Just kind of pack up and I'm out of here. That's it.
Out of here. I mean, some beers helped. You know,
Of course.
it just sort of is what it is, and it's those are still a paid gig.
It happens.
Some
man.
exposure,
right?
but
You can't win if you don't play. Okay, how about your best gig, Jon Zorn?
best gig. One to me doesn't stick out, but one that meant a lot was I played at the 8x10 last year with 3 other bands.
That's a great venue.
And really cool place, smaller, intimate space. But the whole process of getting ready for it, because I played mostly original tunes.
Were you solo? Were you with anybody else?
No, I was with a full band. Shout out. These guys have been on, most of them have, but Jay Turner is just an amazing bass player.
Yeah, Jay Turner plays with us in the Crawdaddies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we know Jay very much so.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, Jay's great.
Jay is such a polished musician.
Yeah, Jay's phenomenal.
And then Chris Frick, who plays keys, great, just prodigy mind with piano. He's a younger guy. And then Chris Barazio played drums that night. That whole process leading up to rehearse, and especially all those guys are such trained musicians, and I'm really not. I more so grew up singer-songwriter, teaching myself and that kind of thing. So
not so much formal training.
Not like formal training, but it was basically we'd rehearse a song and I'd say, whatever, we'll keep it loose here, and they're like, no, you got to have some structure.
Yeah.
Like we can do a solo section, but you got to have structure. So it was just, it was great. And then the night we played, I thought it sounded okay from the monitor, from the stage, but apparently it sounded better out there. But just actually playing a gig where you're inviting people are coming to hear, your own music, and other bands were great that night too.
Yeah, that's a good payoff and a good reward from, doing all the bar gigs and the cover gigs that you do, and then you get to really shine and showcase what it all means to you with original music and stuff, and that's a good feeling.
It means so much. I mean, a lot of the songs I play, I write myself and I record with other musicians, but most of the time I'm playing them solo. So when I play a full band, I hear things that I'm never hearing, and it adds so much energy, it just feels great.
That's great, buddy. Let's talk about California, Jon Zorn.
Sure.
California was the last song you did. Did you write that after having been to California?
I've been to California a bunch, but that was
What are some of your favorite spots in California?
We went to, it's sort of cliche, but Encinitas is a cool spot in San Diego. Such a great vibe there, and really enjoyed around San Diego. But I've been up north, and I love the weather. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, Northern California it's great.
Yeah, Northern California has been great in traveling too. Some beautiful sights, but I've loved. I like LA. Maybe now with COVID, I've heard it's a little bit of a a ghost town.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not a city guy by any means, but I love LA.
So you wrote this.
It's more of. I would say it's more of a fantasy song about moving out west.
So it took the words out of my mouth. That's what it sounds like.
Always. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll happen. But just sort of like I'm gonna move out there no matter what anybody says.
You get your money saved up, and maybe it'll be enough.
Maybe. It'll get me by. So.
That's good. John, we loved having you on the show, man. John, do you like candy corn?
I do. Well, yeah.
I don't have any for you. I wish I did. But.
Favorite candy would be jujubes.
Jujubes.
No one ever has heard of, but they.
I've heard of jujubes. I love jujubes.
They get stuck in your
teeth. The hard
worse
little
than,
plastic little BBBs.
They're like the worst candy, but man, they're my favorite.
John, tell us where we can find your latest EP and how we can stream some of your tunes and get to know Jon Zorn a little bit better.
It's all on Spotify. It's John with no H though.
No H.
You're
so
an H,
for Jonathan.
right?
I'm an H.
Okay. Yeah. So it's JONZORN, and it's jonzorn.com is the website that has all the schedule and the EP on there. But Spotify, I'll just insert all music platforms.
Yeah.
Basically, Amazon Music, all of those.
Good.
So
jonzorn.com. We've had Jon Zorn talking with us today on Mice in the Attic.
Thank you.
It's been a blast.
It has been
Thank
fun,
you for
man.
being here. I'm gonna air hug, air high five you, and next time I'm gonna have some jujubes for you.
Yeah, after all this, we'll have to have some jujubes, some beers, and maybe write some tunes together.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for a phone call to do some studio work with Jon Zorn.
It'll be
We
there.
thank you so much. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay 6 feet apart. Bye-bye.